Arizona, beautiful Scottsdale Stadium. Usually this time of the year it is the home of the San Francisco Giants, and it still is, but they've allocated some time.
Work it out for them because there is some thunder. You look at Carl Michaels, a tall, kind of thin right-hander. He's got a pretty decent slider, a good enough fastball. They've got a couple of
6 pitches he has seen already. And it does not turn out well for Michaels as he issues a 7-pitch walk to the leadoff.
United States, and Dontrell Willis goes to the mound.
Runner takes off. Pete Orr, throw down to second, tail to the last moment for Willem Kemp. And Orr is into second base safely with a stolen base.
United States. It's the outfield where they get a little spotty.
Ball hit in the hole. Nice play by the shortstop Wittenberg, who has a pretty good throwing arm, but he bobbled the ball, and that allows Jason Bay to reach base. So
this to them is lightning fast.
Nice pitch there, a swing and a miss and a strikeout. Nicely done. Justin Moore after a walk and a stolen base. Jason Bay at first after an infield single. There's a comebacker for Michaels. It's going to be a fair ball, and Kemp gets South Africa out of the top of the first. So he had to throw a lot of pitches, but
Bedard has a very good straight change, a good curveball to go with it. And before he hurt his knee, he was off to a great start with Baltimore. And they made a covenant where if Sam ever got a job, Leo would come and become his pitching coach.
Ball 4, so Bedard walks Paul Bell, and South Africa off to a good start here as a lead tonight for Team Canada. As Brett Willenberg, you talked about small ball, and here it is, a bunt. Bedard takes a peek, but fires on to first, and Team South Africa get a walk and a bunt. They got a runner in scoring position.
They're going to have
They decided to make a switch and go with Bedard. Finally, Kemp strikes out as Bedard gets him for the second out here at the bottom of the first.
I'm feeling they don't have.
There's the 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Dempsey is out looking. So a walk and a bunt put runners in scoring position, but Bedard with a couple of strikeouts back.
Too early for that. They were deeper, they would be in the stands.
So he's had some big moments. He said before the game, that's not the biggest moment of my career, but it's certainly up there. And he gets a strikeout of Corey Koski to help, his second strikeout since coming into the game. And these South Africans are.
And you're not going to have to spend a whole lot of money to get him in your organization.
Well, gets away. It was a fastball earlier, allowing Matt Stairs to advance to second, and now Stairs advances over to third base.
Yeah, that one's a wild pitch. That slider dipped in the dirt. Not much of a chance for Kemp. This South African team will play.
Let's have something going. Stairs at third, and Aaron Guile.
You want that one.
Strike 3 called. Armitage gets out of it with a couple of strikeouts of Koski and Guile, and Team Canada, they're not hitting right now. They have not been able to score. Are you going to hit left-handed pitching?
Well, you know, with Dontrell tomorrow in the U.S., you know, we're trying to come up with a couple game plans. One of them is just to stand around the dish and see if he can throw strikes. If not, let him hit you and get on base. Or else the other alternative, being a Team Canada, we can just take the first pitch of the game.
There's a swing and a miss by Phillips and a strikeout. Bedard picks up his second out of the inning.
Yeah, to this point, they're not going to hit the Bedard curve.
A South African DH. Just a final word, Larry, before you say so long in a minute. How big is this tournament to the folks in Canada?
Well, it's huge. You know, it's getting televised back home, and you know, we're all very proud as Canadians to put our name across the front of our jersey. You know, you never
very strong. And going 2 2/3, and so far Barry Armitage has been a little more wild, but he's found a way to be effective as well. He walks Adam Stern to open the fifth.
He was successful.
Runner takes off, throw down to second base, going to tail a little bit, and it's a stolen base for Adam Stern. So right away, Ernie Witt trying to push the Canadian offense a bit. Stern steals.
Doesn't have the strongest arm. This one stolen on Armitage. Pretty good jump. The throw is actually decent. Just not quite in time.
Baseball's Hall of Fame this year, and Suter had to wait 13 years to get there. A pop-up bunt down the first base lines of beauty. It's going to be a base hit for Orr, and over to third base goes Adam Stern. So it's not exactly what we thought from this Howard-laden Canadian lineup with a walk and a stolen base and a bunt. Armitage. He pulls one right to the first baseman Dempsey. They'll try to turn the double play, and they're not going to be able to. One scores from third. Stern is in it. Clapp will pick up the RBI on the fielder's choice. And at last we have a run tonight here at Scottsdale Stadium. The Canadians take a 1-0 lead. In Pennsylvania way back in 1990. Pitch is high. It is ball 4, and Bay is on base. The runners at first and second, and one out.
Africa. You retire Stairs. You get out of this inning with just 1 run. You still have a shot. If these two
to play for the team, he took it all the way to 1989. And Stairs takes one to center field. Ball carrying, and it gets over the head of Jason Cook, and this will score 2. Clapp is in. Bay is in. Stairs with a 2-run double, and Team Canada now leads 3-0.
One of the things we told you is that the outfield usually, normally you would have had Stairs with good power, but he reaches outside. He's not sure if it's going to fall, and as you see the bad route to the ball, Cook just actually misplays it, and Lamont thinks it's going to be.
First time Quantrill has ever gotten to wear that red Canadian jersey. First time he's ever represented his nation. Big ball chopped to second. He has to come over and cover, but he can't in time. The ball gets away. He does make the turn to first, so he's got to get back, and he does safely. Eckerman's turned towards second base, and he had to get back to first, which he did.
That was just a case. People thought that Korea would come out undefeated and beat Japan 3-2 and come away with that one as the #1 seed out of that bracket.
Canada, one-time Toronto Blue Jay, and he drills Bell, and the bases now are full of South Africans. Quantrill struggling a bit.
Guile is fairly deep in right.
Clear the bases and tie the game. Paul Bell with great speed will score. It wasn't quite a grand slam, but a 3-run double will do. And the South Africans are right back into the game.
And how about Willenberg? He gets a high fastball, takes it the opposite way, and an inside-out swing. We're going to watch the reaction from the dugout as there's an ecstatic South African team just seeing the bases.
2-2 pitch now. Pull to Orr. He flips it, and it goes into left field. A wave in Willenberg, and South Africa has the lead at 4-3. Willenberg drove in 3 with the bases loaded. His running move.
It's going to be a backhanded play, and a nice play by Willenberg, and it could very well be that ball flattened out. It didn't take the hop that Orr expected it to take. Under the glove. Along
with an error and a ground ball to feed Orr at short has opened it up for the South Africans to take the lead by scoring 4. And Justin Morneau also made a very big mistake in that inning. And the South Africans took full advantage. Will this be the shocker of the first ever World Baseball Classic? If they can do it right now, they got a shot. South Africa up 4-3.
Very good slider in 3-1.
Michaels, the starter, sticking around to watch this, and there goes Jason Bay unloading one to left field, and that ball just missed off the top of the wall. Would have tied the game. Bay will be held to a double as Eckerman runs that ball in left center. That ball hit the very top of the wall by Jason Bay. 0-1 pitch. And they'll rich this one in the corner, fair ball. Bay will score and tie the game. It has taken Team Canada a while, but now the middle of their order gets a little loud here in the 7th, and they tie the game at 4.
He one-hops the fence. This ball over the plate. Lamont's made a couple of mistakes, and the middle of this Canadian lineup can hit the ball if you don't put it where you want it. So Bay scores easily. The game tie.
1-0 pitch. Ball lifted high and deep to right field, and that ball's going into the pavilion for a 2-run homer for Koski. Team Canada. Oh, Canada, at last they unload here in the 7th and take a 6-4 lead.
Not much doubt about that one. The wind is blowing toward right center. Koski got it up in the wind, and it went a mile.
Corey Koski gets Team Canada's first home run of the World Baseball Classic, and they have the lead back at 6-4. And again, as we mentioned, the South Africans did not come to Scottsdale Stadium until about an hour before the game started. LaForest with the reprieve into the corner. Butcher a little slow to get it out, but he will hold LaForest to a double. That is the 4th extra base hit for Team Canada here in the 7th inning. A homer. 0-1 pitch. Walk by Kemp. Leonard takes off and goes to third. So LaForest there now with just 1 out.
Had a chance last night as we were coming in for this classic, and certainly has turned out that way.
Ball gets away from Kemp. Ball ricochets back with the wrong direction, and LaForest, he wound up doubling, and that opens it up for the pinch runner, Rogelstad, to score. And South Africa on the wild pitch from Alario beginning to break down here. Game proving to be baseball. It's the same baseball we play in Cape Town, same baseball we play in Johannesburg. We can go the other way and stop a base hit, and we got a chance to play with these guys.
Well, they also are getting an opportunity to play on much better manicured version of it, but I think it's going to be wildly successful.
Paul Bell chucks one, and that's a fair ball down the line. Heading to third is Butcher, and they're going to wave him in. And the relay is going to be held, and South Africa comes right back to pick up a run. A double by Paul Bell, scoring Ian Butcher from first, and Canada's lead is down to 7-5.
Still get out major league hitters, and you still have the desire that he has. I'm thinking there's still a little baseball in his future.
Nicely done there by Alario as he strikes in a fastball and creases the all-star Jason
pretty well before this started, and I think it surprised a lot of guys. Obviously, there were some injuries. There were some guys who would have loved to have done it, but they just didn't feel they were ready to go. But I think everybody who's here is game today from Derek Jeter.
Beckham is the other way with a base hit. This will load the bases up. South Africa, and you have to be impressed with their resilience tonight to come back from a couple of deficits to get back into the game. See Joe Nathan tomorrow. That USA bullpen is just loaded. Oh, Bell rips one to left field. This will clear the bases possibly to tie the game at 7. They're going to wave in the runner from first base, Eckermans, and he scores. South Africa has the lead at 8-7. What a night for Paul Bell.
And with the hanging breaking ball, Bell was able to pull it. Nobody home down the left field line. Look at the dugout. They realize that with the bases loaded, this is going to clear them all. And it does just that. 4 runs been on 5 times.
There's a ground ball by Wittenberg right to second. And now we're going to take it to the 9th inning with a chance to win the game. The South Africans are now have enough in him to get these final 3 outs of the game. Ball lifted to center. Jason Cook racing back to the warning track, and that ball's going to stay in the ballpark and ricochet away, and Radmanovic, the tying run, is going to wind up on third base standing. They'll hold him there. A leadoff towering triple, and the Canadians
have the tying run 90 feet away.
Now Adam Stern trying to bring it in. He'll lace one down the line. It's a fair ball. Canada tied the game at 8, and Stern on his way to second base. So back-to-back pitches, and Canada is off the hook for now. Radmanovic scores, and we're tied. Same for Armitage. And maybe South Africa would have been able to stretch this game out, get the outs they needed earlier, and they would have had a real chance to win this game. And that ball just sailed on Phillips, and Canada takes the lead back on the throwing error. The bunt by Orr, and Stern scores as Jonathan Phillips, the third baseman, just sails one way over the head of Nick Dempsey. The disappointment for now on the South African faces. Ball gets away again. He showed bunt, and another ball to the backstop. That's been an ongoing problem for the South Africans tonight. 0-2 pitch. Ball again gets past. 6th wild pitch of the night, and that'll score a run, and that's a big one now. South Africa needs 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th.
And that's the one thing that I worried about with the catcher coming back. Lee Smith a little frustrated. They were 1 strike away.
Last year with the Twins, his first full year in the major leagues, going 12-5 with an ERA of 2.71. Team Canada not done. Boucher get a bloop one in, and they will take a 3-run lead now into the bottom of the 9th as Jason Bay comes in to score to make it 11-8 Canada. Quite a different score than we had today when Team USA.
When he's right, he just wears out the infielders behind him. He'll throw ground ball after ground ball.
1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss by the catcher Willem Kemp. Willem has had a hard night tonight.
3 outs away from a monumental upset of a very strong Canadian team.
Maybe not done yet, as Dempsey shoots one back where it came from.
Jesse Crane saw his season flash before his eyes. Fortunately, he was able to get underneath that one.
3-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and both the strikes out. And even though they did not win the game tonight, Stoney, this may be the most impressive performance for South Africa overall, even better than the win against the Netherlands. This was a pretty good Canada team they took right to the end tonight.
Well, Ernie Witt and the Canadians breathing a tremendous sigh of relief. They come away with the win, which is what they want to do, and South Africa comes away with a great sense that maybe they do.
I thought you want my love,